Alright guys, so let's get right into it. Real fast, just a disclaimer, this is for half point PPR and PPR leagues. This is fantasy football, obviously, this is not DFS. And again, keep in mind, I don't do standard, I don't play standard leagues, I don't make rankings for standard leagues. If you're, a standard leagues player, good luck, good job, I don't know. I do all half point PPR and PPR from now on. But with that being said, let's look at our first stardom for quarterbacks. We have quarterback Anthony Richardson. Now, Richardson last week looked very good versus Jacksonville, and Jacksonville actually had a pretty good defense. He put up 20 fantasy points, which was actually kind of surprising, but not really. When you factor in the fact that how mobile he is in the same ballpark range of quarterbacks like Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, where they give you kind of a floor going into the game and says, hey, listen, I'm going to run the ball, and I'm going to at least give you 12 points from me rushing the ball, right? And then you might also get points from, me throwing the football. So it's kind of like that ballpark range of, you get a double play right there. So I kind of love him this week. And I know I said that in a weird way, and the reason why I said it in a weird way is because I feel like a lot of people are not really on his bandwagon yet, and they really should be. Especially with the fact that this week he gets the Texans, right? It's in Indianapolis. It's the home game for the Colts. Should be a really, really good game for them. And again, I think he can run all over this Houston Texans defense. Now, last week, Lamar Jackson wasn't able to run that much on this Texans defense. He only threw the ball for 169 yards and ended up actually getting his main running back hurt. The Colts are in a situation where they do not care. Right? The Ravens know they're probably going to the playoffs, possibly go to the Super Bowl, right? So they're in that kind of like, we need to be smart, play smart, and get the job done. The Colts are in the F around and find out type of moment, right? So I really like him this week. I think he replicates his week 1 performance of 20 points, and I think it could be a really good play. The Jacksonville Jaguars plays Kansas City Chiefs. I think that Mahomes having Kelsey back now, Chris Jones back, they're going to open up this offense. They're going to open up this offense and score some points against the Jags defense in this week. And that's going to let a lot of, back and forth with Trevor Lawrence here. I absolutely love him this week. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Might be the best game of the week, in all honesty. Last week I was saying how the best game was going to be the Chargers versus Dolphins. It ended up being the best game of the week. And I think this game this week is going to actually be the best. With, of course, I have him projected at 22 points. Our final stardom here is Geno Smith, and a lot of people are going to be off of him after that Rams debacle where he looked like a toaster oven out there, but I think he can bounce back pretty well this week. I think this is a week where we could see, a really, really good performance from Geno. And I know, yes, there are going to be a lot of people who just like, oh, no, I'm done with him. He's trash. He's garbage. Don't be one of those guys. That's why fantasy football, not everybody wins. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, if the guy has one bad week, I'm going to cut him, or I'm going to get somebody else, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to bench him. You got to realize that players have bad weeks, and then they have good weeks, right? Week 1's always the craziest week of the season. You never know what to expect, and crazy things happen. My sit-ums, Dak Prescott plays the Jets defense. Now, the Jets defense had 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery versus Josh Allen. I'm not expecting that to happen in this game. But in reality-wise, even though the Cowboys destroyed the Giants by 40 points, Dak Prescott had 13 fantasy points. He didn't do anything. And it's very possible in this game, he might not do anything either. So, I don't really love him in this game. I am not touching the Broncos and in any way possible until they show me they have some type of skill to them. I refuse to touch this offense. I love Sean Payton, but I don't love this offense. Rams, Matthew Stafford. I know he threw 344 yards last week, guys. I know he went off and he looked amazing and he looked top tier. I don't think he's going to do it this week. I do not believe he's going to do this week. So I'm going to say sit him. Last week, I actually didn't put him on my starter sit-him list. I don't think I did, at least. I don't believe I did. So, don't play him. Alright, running backs. Breece Hall. Yup. With now Zach Wilson at quarterback and pretty much all their hope and dreams in Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. Breece Hall last week was an absolute monster. put up 125 yards, and he looked like he is the guy moving forward. So, 100% yes. Bills, James Cook, another absolutely yes. Last week, James Cook went ahead and carried for 60% of the snaps James Cook was out there for. 1,000%. He's going to get a lot of workload in this next game. I love him. I have him 17 fantasy points right there. He's a yes. Panthers, Miles Sanders is a yes. For sit-ums, we have Alexander Madison, Cam Akers, and Isaiah Pacheco. Listen, I love this, again, like I said before, the Chiefs-Jags game. I think it's going to be a great game. I don't love it for the running backs or pretty much any receiver outside of naming Travis Kelce. Because I don't think any of these receivers, well, I mean, I won't say any receiver. I think MVS could have a decent game. But, like, for example, you're going to see I have Kadarius Toney on my sit-em list right there. Actually, wait, did I have... Right there, yeah, I do have my sit-em list, Kadarius Toney. I don't like anything else from this Chiefs offense. I don't think they're going to do great. I think they're going to do pretty mediocre. And I think it's going to be Patrick Mahomes and Kelce proving yet again why they're a top, duo in the NFL. Alright, so my stardoms for wide receivers, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. I know Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to be a weird stardom because last week he had 2 receptions for 16 yards. But let's be honest, last week Seattle didn't really do anything on offense. It was actually a really big mess. Now I think there's going to be a bounce back game for Seattle, and that's why I do have Jackson Smith-Njigba in that situation of being a stardom. For my sit-ums, I have Kadarius Toney, Marquise Brown, and Brandon Cooks. Listen, I know last week the Cardinals looked actually very competent. They looked like they weren't tanking versus the Washington Commanders. And a lot of people now will be like, whoa, maybe this this Arizona Cardinals squad is actually going to do something. No, don't fall for it. Please, do not fall for it. I'm going to have them sit them this week. Stardom tight ends wise, we have Evan Ingram, Sam Laporta, and we have Dallas Goedert. Now, if you guys been following my weekly, I guess my first week of the season when it comes to my waiver show, I did talk about Sam Laporta as a very viable option to pick up if you need a tight end, and I think he really is going to show off in this game this upcoming week. My sit-ums are Irv Smith, Hayden Hurst, and Dalton Schwartz. If you've been watching my DFS show, you know Irv Smith has been a guy I talked so much about week 1. I was so excited to see him go out there in his first game with the Cincinnati Bengals, really taking over for that Hayden Hurst role. He was 100% healthy, which he has not been in his past, but when he is healthy, he is one of the best tight ends in the game. Well, it ended up being a mess for the Bengals. They could not do anything on offense, and he did suffer for that. Now I have sit-em for that reason. I don't think he's going to do anything good this week. He goes against Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. I absolutely hate him this week in this upcoming matchup. For my defenses, we have stardom, Saints, Browns, Giants. I know the Giants are going to be weird one to say stardom to, but trust me, I think they can bounce back. They play the Cardinals. I like that matchup. Sit-em, Jags, Titans, and Rams. Again, Jags go without question. Chargers play the Titans. So, yeah. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.